Hey, y'all. Sorry for my hair, y'all. I was trying to fix it before I went live. Don't know what happened. Don't know why. Um, so I didn't realize that fan was in my background. Anyways, just wanted to come on here real quick to encourage you. Um, and let you know, like, it's been a lot on my mind about my journey, right? And I know a lot of people don't can relay. I know a lot of people probably can, but hey, we're gonna get what we can get. Hold on a second. Let me figure this out real quick. 1 second. Um, had to pause it really quick fast. Turn to now. Anyways, I've been thinking about my journey for the last couple of days, maybe a week or so now, and just really thanking God for where I am at this moment. Um, but I did want to come on and just let you know that how would I put it? It's not easy, right? But with God, you can do anything. You can do all things through Christ, right? Once you give your life to God, you can definitely do anything, as long as it's in His will, right? But it's like when you know that you're in true deliverance, things don't bother you as much. Though you're walking it out on a daily basis, and it's going to be a forever daily basis because the enemy is going to always come and try to sway you. He's going to try to tempt you. He's going to try to do a lot of things just to try to get you off track. Because at one point, first of all, he's mad because he didn't get to get you when he had the chance, right? He should have got you then. Like I said, he should have got me then. He had me then, honestly, until God really had to snatch me up out of that, out of the situations that I was in. Because I tell you, the enemy can make something so right but yet so wrong. He can make things seem like, oh, everything is going well. You don't have to worry about anything. Because I was thinking the other day, I was like, I don't think I struggled when I was in Garland back then. I was good. I was chilling, Um, but in reality, I was struggling, like, as far as spiritually wise, because I was dying. Like, I was feeding my flesh. I was feeding the alcohol fiend, filling the women's fiend, just the theme of being in control of my life without having anybody to answer to, if that makes sense. I felt like I had everything under control. Like my finances was good. I was on food stamps. That's probably why. um, you know, of course, I'm not on food stamps, but whatever. Um, But I felt like I was okay. Like, my kids was good, everything was fine, but at the same time, I was dying spiritually and I didn't realize really how much it affected my children. My boys, they really don't say anything, but my daughter, listen, the girl is very sensitive as far as what's going on and how things are going and all those things. After prayer now, of course, I've noticed that she's like me to my mom. My mom, if y'all know, Evangelist Suzanne Neal, however you know her, prophetess, however, she was on my podcast before, you know her. Um, her life and all that stuff, and then how we came in and all that stuff. I didn't really vocalize that, the things that bothered me with my mom. I didn't really vocalize all that stuff. Um, but I told her that we come a long way, so I'm grateful for it. Now we're like best friends. But not realizing how much my my what do you call it, my flesh, my longing for my flesh getting stronger and stronger. The things that I was doing, the more alcohol I was doing, the more women that I was with, just my life that I was dealing with. Didn't realize it was affecting my kids like that, especially my daughter. Because I'd be in a conversation at one point with somebody, it could be anybody. And I'm like, girl, I ain't drinking this long and blah blah blah. And my daughter will give me this side eye. She won't say nothing. but she'll give me a side. I'll be like, and I'm like, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking a long time, y'all. I'm clean, so I'm good. But she be looking at me like, Mom, I really hate when you had that conversation. But I try to tell her, I'm like, yeah, I hate having the conversation too. Kind of hate that I was even drawn into that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if I can try to help somebody else not to really just go into that route, don't do it. And I have to try to teach her that, like, just because I talk about it, the things that I used to do doesn't mean I'm doing it now. So I'm trying to get her in the balance of all that. But again, knowing that the decisions that you make now is really the decisions that is going to affect your children down the line. Might not be your children, be your children, however long the Lord let your genetics go by. Um, However long we on this world, right? But it's going to affect somebody. And if you don't deal with it at that time, it don't even have to be alcoholism. It could be depression or stress or um, anything negative. Anything negative. Sorry, that's my granddaughter. Oh man, no. Um, it can be anything. I mean, it don't even have to be bad. It could be career driven. It could be this. It could be that. It could be anything. But just know whatever decision that you're making, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, naturally, financially, spiritually, psychotically, emotionally, all these things, it will affect your next person in line. And you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, allowing them to fight the same devils that you're fighting because they got their own devils to fight, right? So, with that, thanking God for the deliverance, thanking God for the path that He has me on, I can see my relationship with my kids are better. They're able to open up to me about a whole lot more stuff, and just knowing, just even by myself, looking at myself in the mirror, like, man, you yeah, you have come a long way. You have found the love that you were looking for because God has really just came in and just took over my whole life by me accepting him in my life. And also, reuniting with my husband and of course the kids and then the people of God. Um, of course, I still have people looking at me upside down, which is fine. They rarely don't mean to be around me, family and friends of some kind. They still have their issues or whatever, but by all means, as long as I'm good with God, all the other stuff, it matters, but then, people gonna do what they gonna do, right? People have a tendency of having memories, and not letting them go as far as forgiveness. Even though you didn't hurt them, it's still whatever decision you made affected them. Um, but again, nobody's perfect. I'm not saying go out there and sin or whatever. I'm not ever, no ever say that. But just look at where the person is now and just see the growth, in the person. Don't harp on their sin. Don't harp on, they did wrong. Believe me, everybody in this world who's covered with this stuff here have done something wrong, have said something wrong, have thought something wrong, of anything, shape, or form. So yeah. Um, Again, even if that person is still struggling, like my desire is to really just go out and talk to the people who are in that LBGT community, the people that are HIV positive, um, the people who did deal with suicide and depression and all those things that people honestly deal with, and talk to them on a real basis. Like, I'm gonna relate with you. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna bring scripture, of course, by the Lord's help. By giving me the words to say. At the same time, I'm not gonna bash you. I'm not gonna beat you because you don't look like me. As far as my walk on the other side of deliverance, but I want to get you there. You know what I'm saying? With the grace of God, I want to help you get there. Um, so being a believer, being a Christ, you're not a Christian, a Christian, because there are many people who call themselves Christians and are not walking nowhere near it. Um, and knowing that, um, Don't allow that to make you better than or holier than thou, but just knowing that made you crossed over from somewhere. And to let somebody see that and know that will better help them instead of you beating them ahead saying that they're going to hell, and there's no turning back. No, that's not what God did. I don't believe Jesus walked around and said, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. No, I believe that he really sat there and taught the people, brought different life scenarios, and made people think about their decisions and what they're saying, what how they're living, and for us to be like him and walk like him, talk like him, emote like him. Sorry. Um, we really have to get to that point where we can really just be real with people. Like, don't forget where you come from. You forget the joy of it. Because of course, if you really know it, it's not really any joy on it. But just to know that somebody out there needs your story, right? Somebody out there um is waiting on you to get your deliverance. Somebody's waiting on you to get your life right, so that because they're connected with you some way, shape, or form in the spirit. Um, and you may not ever see them. You may be able to drop a seed, but God get the increase, right? So that's why I'm gonna take this and more serious as far as sharing the story in different shapes and different ways of doing it. There'll be a plenty of series, eventually coming up. The books are still coming out and all that. God has a book for me. I haven't written it yet, but I'm looking. My hands are up, ready for to give him my hands so that I can write the book that he wants me to. Um, but again, your book is needed. Your story is needed, because there's so many people out here who are really struggling and really need the help. Um, and if you're not in position, then what else do they have? God may, God will, send somebody else to do it, but what will happen to you? Just like he said with Esther, um, he put her in the palace for such a time as this. But if she didn't do what he told her to do, he was going to rise up somebody else to do it. But what was going to happen to her, right? So, don't let your story go to waste. Don't let, just life be life, and because life is gonna life forever. But stop and share your story. Stop and just be like, man, let me tell you how good God is. Let me show you how good God is, because we're still standing, we're still breathing. He still give us the fingertip of love. And life isn't over. And you don't have to continue down the path that you're in. I know the enemy can really, like I said earlier, make things sound so good and so wonderful and feel so good and numb and all these things, but it's a facade, like it's a lie. It's not meant for you to walk down the path that you're walking, and he knows that. And once you get to know that, once you really start walking into that, so he know his kingdom going down. It's going down anyway, regardless. But imagine if you can help by snatching someone out of the hell's kitchen, that they're going into, but into eternal damnation, and where there is no turning back. What makes, like, wouldn't it make you feel really well, really great if you shared your story by the grace of God, of course, not you getting the glory, but God getting the glory for sure. But to know that you're helping somebody, to know that um somebody became free just because of hearing your story. So, and again, it doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be bad, it could be good, like somebody going off to college and stuff, because um I have people in my family that are going to college, and their journey, they went to college or going to college, and their journey has been real crazy. But guess what? They succeeded. So it can be a good thing of determination. It can be a good thing of, you know, the journey that you're going on turns out to be really good. But what are the steps that you took to get through that so that somebody can not make the mistakes that they're going to make? You know what I'm saying? Like if you created a business, show them the steps of your business that you did, like who you contacted, how did you do it, what links do they need, and what contacts do they need, or even if they went to school or something, give them tips and tricks on how to be successful. Even if you're a man or woman of God who know your Bible, I'm not gonna say inside and out, but because God is always surprising us differently when we go back and read the word. But if you're good at studying your word, if you're good at prayer, if you're good at those things, and you have somebody who is seeking to learn how to do those things, walk with them, talk with them, guide them, praying that's God to give you wisdom on how to do so, because again, your journey is not their journey, and God may have something different for them to do, but at least you can get them started, right? So yeah, that's my rant for the day. Be encouraged, and again, somebody needs your story, and again, I am going to do better by posting more, because my daughter is posting more on my phone as far as her YouTube is concerned. She has her thing going on, so it's going to motivate me to actually just pull the camera out and do the same thing. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm here for it. Be encouraged on today. And I pray that you have a fantastic weekend. And I'll come back and talk to you guys later. Bye.